Can you believe it's been over 90 days of over 90 degrees for us here? And it's also been about 7-8 weeks since we've had any rain. So we've basically had no rain here and things have been super dry. Also, in the second week of fall, of autumn, we had 100 degrees here on our farm. It's ridiculous. I can't ever remember that happening before. I'm sure it probably has, but it's been crazy. So it's been interesting to deal with it here. Josiah, I'm tired of heat. What about you?
Yeah.
I'm ready for it to actually feel like fall. It's officially fall, but it doesn't feel like it here yet. And since we haven't had rain, really, check out our grass. Our grass is turning brown and is dying in certain spots. Grass is not the highest important thing to be growing on our farm, but it is nice to have it where you want it to grow. And but some areas is dying. So thankfully in the garden, we do have irrigation. If we didn't have that, we would be in serious trouble right now if we were just relying on rain. Each morning I can take a little quick walk through around the garden, around the homestead, just to make sure everything's all right, especially in the garden, to make sure see if you see any problems that need to be nipped in the bud right away, and see if you have any major leakage in your irrigation. And things are looking good right now, and thankfully, despite the heat, we've still been able to keep things growing. Right here we have radishes growing here, and right beside that is a bed of arugula that started, kale, some more arugula. And then we have some other spots. We have Swiss chard and some more kale and other things growing. Thinking about maybe doing a fall garden tour. So if that's something you're interested in, let me know. But right now, Josiah and I are getting ready to collect the chicken eggs and duck eggs. One of the things that had happened here recently, we didn't get the eggs on time. And with dealing with the heat, because it's been so hot, eggs actually went bad faster. Not that we collect them every day, but just because it was so hot, the heat just got to them, and the eggs went bad. It's kind of like this, just kind of somewhat cooked them, or it was just weird. So we've really been diligent in collecting the eggs and putting them in a cooler place multiple times a day right now. We're collecting them at least 3 times a day right now to make sure to avoid that from happening.
Look at this feather.
Wow, that feather is pretty neat. Looks like the heat has them losing a little bit of feathers. I don't blame them. I'd shed a little bit of layer too if I was able to. I guess I am able to, but that wouldn't be appropriate for camera.
How did I not notice that? And well, feel it. It feels like sandpaper.
Wow, that egg does feel a little odd. So that one's a little thin too, so be careful with that one. Alrighty, so those of you who are new to our channel or maybe haven't seen our videos in a while, we're working on this area right in here with the chickens and ducks along with us, just clearing it out. We want to make it an area that is usable next year to grow things or be able to bring the animals in a little bit more. It's just been a forest area where trees are all over the place, so we're cutting down a lot of the trees, just thinning it out, so that way the trees that are here are able to really grow and branch out, because on the edges we're thinking about having some more fruit trees and even bringing in a permaculture coach to kind of help us do a design and layout for this area. So something we're thinking about. Here's an egg. And right now, since this area is kind of somewhat chaos, they're laying a little bit of all over the place. We do have nesting boxes for them, but the area is so wide open and there's so many areas where they can kind of make their own nest. They're just doing that. So right now we're playing a little bit of scavenger hunt. It is what it is. Well, I don't plan to keep it like this, but right now they're doing a job of really helping clear this area out. There was poison ivy and all kind of just crazy stuff going in here. before we really opened up their area and gave them access to this forest area, they were laying in these nesting boxes a lot more. So I was actually surprised to see some eggs in here. All right, with the heat, they really haven't been laying as many eggs, so this is all we got today, well, at least this morning. We still have a few more times to collect today, but the heat does affect their laying production, so we'll check back a little bit later. All right, the next thing I need to do is unload this compost blend that I have here in the back of my truck and hopefully be able to knock it out before it gets too hot and I feel like passing out or having heat stroke in the process. So we'll get that done. And as I was getting out, I was trying not to hit this persimmon tree here. This is one of the areas on our property where we have a few persimmon trees, and this is actually one of our better persimmon trees here, and you can see the persimmons right there. And with it being so dry, I wasn't sure, and I'm still not sure how the fruit's gonna turn out, so we'll see. Right now they look okay, and once it starts getting cold, they should start ripening up real nice. We'll just have to keep checking on it and see. But let's get this compost unloaded. Woo! It's definitely warming up. I feel like it's getting close to 85, 90 degrees right now. I'm not sure what I was thinking wearing the black shirt. It definitely attracts heat. Actually, I was recording this morning a video about cardio exercise for the do-it-yourself abundance course that I'm contributing to do-it-yourself farm fitness in. So once I get done shoveling this, I'm definitely going to be switching shirts here. I do want to mention that when I'm shoveling and doing a lot of different tasks, I try to make sure that I work both sides of my body so that way don't create imbalances. You create imbalances in your body when you focus on doing one area, so I try to shovel with both hands. All right, so I have a new cooler shirt on. This shirt is from one of our favorite viewers, Thomas's Urban Farming. He's been following us for quite some time on YouTube and Instagram, and he's a big supporter of ours, and we really appreciate you, Thomas, for following along with us and sending me some neat gear. Really appreciate it. So we're gonna head out now, and I actually, those of you who remember a couple vlogs ago, I talked about the problems that I had with our watering system for animals. I had tried to purchase a new valve system for our water tank, our 275-gallon water tank, but it was leaking just because the threads on it did not match up with the tank. So I was like, after having that trouble, I was like, well, why don't I just contact the guy that I actually got the tank from? And he was like, yeah, I have one for you. So we're gonna go ahead and pick up one of those, and Josiah's with me, and he was doing some homeschool earlier, counting out his money. So how much you got there?
10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, wow, 90, 100.
So how much money do you have here?
$6.
Let's see. Show me.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Good job. Way to go.
And here's some of the coins we were counting out.
And while we're out getting the valve, we're going to go ahead and take the coins that Josiah was counting, and we're going to actually cash it in for some cash for him, stick in his wallet. Some banks, like the credit union, will actually not deduct any fees for exchanging your coins for cash. So that's what we're going to do. Alrighty, so we just got back to the homestead. We got the valve that we needed for the water tank, as well as Josiah had the opportunity to use the Coinstar machine for the first time. Is that just a little loud? After he was done loading up the machine, there was over $43 worth of coins that he inserted into the machine. So that was just a neat little part of homeschooling. Now we're back home and kids are reading right here. Selah's reading a book. Micah's counting his money. I guess it's money day today, isn't it, Micah? Mm-hmm. And Josiah is reading, as well as Lacie working on our next video over there.
I got a lot of money.
You do. And you got your ID in there too?
A dumpy.
You're grumpy in the ID. You do look a little grumpy right there. And I just connected the valve to the water tank, and let me tell you, it works great. It's amazing when you have the right things, how they work together well, like they're supposed to. So, wish I would have thought of that before, but things are working fine now. Connected the wire splitter to that valve, as well as connected the hose, and there's no leak, so things are working out well. I did notice that one of the seals in the hose was kind of deformed, so I think the heat from the water just being hot inside the hose actually kind of made the seal just kind of do some funky shape, so it really wasn't sealing properly. So I took that out, put a new one in, and it's working great. But we have had to add some ice to the waters for the chickens, so we're getting ready to do that here in a minute, as well as collect some more eggs. During the warmer months, the kids typically do their homeschool stuff in the afternoon when it's too hot outside to really do things out on the farm, and then the colder months is when we flip the schedule around and we let them do their homeschooling in the morning, and then their main chores and farm work in the afternoon alongside me. So a few weeks ago, when the heat wave or whatever it was kind of starting off, I noticed that the water going to the chickens and ducks was just hot. It was actually so hot when I disconnected the hose, it almost burned me. So I've started to add ice. Josiah has been helping me out, adding ice to their water just to keep it from being so hot, and it's been actually helping. The water doesn't get really hot with the dogs or the cats, but it does with the chickens and the ducks, just because the heat from the sun reflecting on the hose, which the hose is dark, it just absorbs that heat and warms up the water, and we don't want that. There you go. All right. So now they have iced tea instead of hot tea, right?
Yep.
Right in there again. As a farmer and homesteader, dealing with the weather, the temperature, and all that, including the heat, it's just part of the territory. And there's just adjustments and changes we have to make. It's just part of the job. And we do the best we can. Well, gonna get back to it. Despite all the warm temperatures we've been having, I enjoy being out here, experiencing nature, experiencing being on the farm, homesteading in this way of life. It really connects me all around. It connects every human being. We're physical beings, and we're in a physical world, and we must interact with that physical world, even with the challenges. Well, that's it for now. Time to get back to work. Probably start winding up and call it a day here pretty soon. But as always, be strong and grow on. We'll see you next time.